Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to your sincere Akim out there, pushing the truth across the four corners of earth. I am the brother Shaman of Great Millstone, Chicago. Just wanted to bring out a couple of scriptures. Hey, because basically, scriptures talk about the Most High would do nothing, but he gives his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. All right, and if you're looking for the secrets of this book, you're looking for the secrets that the Lord has had. If you're looking for, what the scriptures are about, where the Israelites really are. All right, who are the secret? That's what everything is about, man. It's scriptures talks about parables and dark sayings, right? All right, which in the Hebrew is chayadah, okay, a dark saying, a parable. All right, that's what it's filled with, man. Like the scriptures say, what is the name of the Father and the name of the Son, if thou can tell, if thou canst tell. All right, which we've been given that name. We've been given both of those names. Matter of fact, we've been given our names as well. We've been given the names of our tribes, And ultimately, if we continue in our labor and we're of the elect, we're going to be given the kingdom, and we're going to be given control over rulership, which is the blessing that was appointed onto Jacob. All right, but this is Romans 12:11. It talks about after it talks about being brotherly, it talks about not slothful, in business, fervent in the spirit, serving the Lord. All right, and at the end of the day, man, this is the Lord's business. You're here to work. All right, just plainly put. We're not here to hang out or be the cool guy, or which fellowship, of course, that's part of it. Meeting with brothers, getting with brothers. The scriptures talk about there be a brother, a friend, who is close. You know what I'm saying? You have some people who you just click with, and then some brothers, you might just do the work and see them, only a few times. All right, it's just how the Spirit has it. All right, but ultimately, man, we're not here to be cool. We're not here to hang out. We're not here to, tell our life story and, do all this other stuff. We're here to preach the word. We're here for the Lord's business, man. And part of his business is your sacrifice. All right? Hey, we are a living sacrifice, man, unto this business. All right? We keep this business going. All right? Every business, they need sacrifices, man. The business of this place, Babylon, guess what? The sacrifice was hundreds of years of free labor and resources that they took from the tribes of Israel. All right. And ultimately, scriptures we talk about we are gold tried in the fire. Also, the scripture talks about us being those lively stones, us being those jewels. All right. So ultimately, we are the it's talking about we're the Israel is the Lord's portion, his inheritance. All right. We are his inheritance, man. We are his riches. We're going to inherit all of his creation. All right. And his spirit is going to dwell with us forever, for all of Israel, ultimately in the kingdom of heaven. All right. And the riches of the earth ultimately are going to come to the children of Israel who rule over in our kingdom. All right. This is Nehemiah 13. All right, because ultimately, we're part of all these different business terms and all this different stuff. It ultimately applies to the scriptures. All right, hey, you go to the job, you have to deal with certain stuff from your boss, man. You might have to deal with correction. You might have to deal with sometimes, not necessarily liking everything about him. You might have to deal with certain knucklehead situations which have to be worked out. All right, it's not going to be a perfect thing, man, but ultimately, this business is growing, and the scriptures talk about the Lord gives us benefits daily. All right, so this business is ultimately never going to fail. All right, unlike the businesses of this world, which You know what I'm saying? Everything you do in this world, man, you need a loan. All right? You need a loan. You need a fucking a $20,000 loan, $30,000. You need a loan, FHA loan to get a home. You need a loan, an auto loan. You need a loan for this. So you can get your. You need a loan for everything, man. You got to go for them for everything. All right, these things are given to us freely. All right, freely, and the elect is going to take advantage and ultimately multiply these talents that were given to us. All right, this is Nehemiah 13:30. It says, "Thus cleansed I them from all strangers and appointed the wards of the priests and the Levites, every one in his business." All right, so the scriptures talk about business. All right, what is business? Let's see, did I highlight it? See that word there? Like you. Okay, the word there is mala'aka. Mala'aka. Occupation, work, business. Occupation, business, property, work, something done or made, workmanship, service, use. All right, public business. But that's what's happening, man. We're in the service. All right, we're in the service, man. That's one thing Jake loves, man. Jake likes to get into, Jake likes to invest, go into the service. All right, postal service, military service, whatever. Hoping that 20 years down the line they can retire, and they can benefit from being in that service. All right, and that's what we're doing on the right hand side, man. The rest of these people, they trust in the staff of Egypt. All right, and that's what's going to happen, man. Ultimately, they're going to be cheated out of all the work that they put in to this place once the money, loses value. All right, because that's ultimately what the goal of Revelation 13 is to do, man. The beast, he has to bring everybody to him in order to be able to buy or sell. All right, that's why our hearts are not set on our goods. All right, that's why ultimately we use the word and abuse it as pilgrims, because ultimately, none of this stuff is ours. All right, we don't have any control over this place. We don't have any, what do they call it? Sovereign rights. When you get into some of the elites, they got the summer home, right, that they'll have. Then they got the winter home, they'll go down to Florida or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They have, this mansion, that mansion, all these different places, overseas. They own property in Europe. They own this property. All these different things, which, ultimately, the land rights and the rights, to all that stuff is backed up by their rulership. Right? That's what created this entire system that we're in. The real estate and the auto industry, all these different industries are a result of this beast system. Right? That's why overseas, those Idumeans, they follow the same system. The other nations who are in line with them, who want to make money, who want to come into this system, they're in line with the same system. All right, they got the same stuff, so they can send over there, Toyotas, Hyundais, all that stuff. All right, they worship this beast. All right, but very soon they're going to turn against them because this system is coming to a close. All right, and that's what's going on right now, man. Russia has a lot of Russia and China have a lot invested in these other nations, and so rather than deal with the U.S. and deal with all the hot mess that they have, they do business with them. Right, and that way they can they don't get fucked over as hard. Let me say it like that. All right, that's exactly what's going on, man. Everybody's in bed with these other nations, and the U.S. is withdrawing. But like the apostle brought out a couple lessons ago, we don't have any production anymore. We don't have a lot of production anymore. All right, the food and all that stuff is starting to become scarcer. All right, it's starting to thin. Right, Egypt is starting to wear down, man. The curses and the pestilence is starting to, and that worm is starting to eat, so to speak. All right, and ultimately, man, whether it's Ephesians 2:10, it says, "For we are His workmanship, created in Yahushua Mashiach unto good works, which the Most High have before ordained that we should walk in them." All right, so ultimately, we'll try to walk, utilizing the law to the best of our ability. And then it even says, wherefore, remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. All right. And that at the time ye were without Yahweh Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without the Most High in the world. And the whole thing of the Gentiles was a precedent for today, where we've all been scattered across the four corners of the earth. We've all been, none of us is, in Israel right now, unless, you got certain Jakes who returned there, which they weren't supposed to do yet. All right, which, right now is warfare, man. They might get caught up, in the warfare that's going on. All right. Yeah. None of us were born into some of us might have been circumcised, but none of us were born into the circumcision. We weren't born into, for the most part, knowing that we're Israelites. All right. It says that at the time you were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without the Most High in the world. I think I read that, but it's worth reading again, man. Aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. And ultimately, Israel is a people before it's a place. So it doesn't matter what you label, that city doesn't matter what you do, because a lot of it's going to be destroyed and it's going to be recreated, again. All right. Because the scriptures mentions the company of prophets, 1 Samuel 10:10. It says, when they had thither to the hill, behold, a company of prophets met him, and the Spirit of the Most High came upon him, and he prophesied among them. All right. And, you have some brothers who do the work alone. May the Lord bless you. But, if you're in a medium or larger group, you're in a company of prophets. All right. It's a company, man. It's a group of people. All right. And that's for the purpose of edifying and building each other up. All right. This isn't just a hangout spot. Hey, all these different things that we read about, man. That even the Spartans, as tough as they were, Paul had to make corrections to them. Paul made corrections to a lot of the different churches and a lot of the different congregations. All right, hey, nobody is above correction. All right, in the company it says a cord, rope, territory, band, company, a rope cord, a measuring cord, a union. Right, that's what it's talking about. A band, a coast. And when I see that, I think of that scripture. It says we're what does it say? I think it's a 3-twin cord. Right, talking about those huge cords that they use to hold the ships. Right, those huge, big ass ropes. That's basically what it is, man. It's a bunch of small ropes, and they're wound together. Then they make one rope, and then they wound together. Okay, then those ropes they wound together and make that huge rope, which is damn near, unbreakable. You got to set the damn thing, on fire pretty much. And even then, it's still strong. All right, that's like us, man. We're that cord. All right, this is Leviticus 19:35. That's why it's important for us to make sure we practice righteous judgment, because ultimately, again, this place, they just went up on mortgages, right? Then you had, the whole gasoline situation. Now you have a lot of products which are not going to reach the U.S., which help them to produce other products. One of them I was looking at, it was like palm oil, right? And with palm oil, they use a lot of that to make, soap, and palm oil is in a lot of our food too. Right? What they're doing, if you watch the back, and a lot of our stuff has soybean oil. We produce a lot of soybeans, and that's on purpose, man. Keep these people dumbed down and feminine. All right, we're not meant to be feminine, though, man. We're men. This is Leviticus 19:35. It says, "You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure." Now, this is talking about balances, but ultimately, the scriptures talk about the Lord hates a false balance, the false judge. All right, so you can't be doing all the things that you preach against doing, but you're doing them, behind the scenes, man. The Lord is gonna find you out. The Lord is gonna, snuff that candle, man. He's gonna take you out of the truth, right? And ultimately, if He takes you out, then you would never, amongst the elect, you were never of the elect anyway, right? So it's a it's a stumbling block. All right, and Jake is slick, man. What Jake would do, and that's why it's a law, man. What people would do, when it was time to measure something, going out, they would use a lighter weight, or they would use a heavier weight. Okay, so they could say they would send it out more, then they would bring it in. They would use a lighter weight, to say you would give them less, so they would have to pay for less. All right. And that's what Esau been doing, man. They used to put fucking floor shavings in the fucking flour and all kind of shit. That's why they had to do an FDA and all. They have Secretary of State. They do something with the measures and the balances, and they have to check equipment. And even so, that shit is still false, man. It's still corruption. It's still them skimming off the top. All right, this place is full of false balances, man. It's a complete abomination. All right, the fact that they're even, because that's what they're doing now, man. They're holding that reparations out thing, like, we consider it, Tulsa, we consider it. People in Los Angeles, we're considering it, we're studying it. It ain't no considering, man. There's no considering it. All right, we're going to get reparations, but ultimately it's going to be from the Lord. That's why you got to invest in the right business, man. The Lord's business. Otherwise, you ain't gonna get paid. All right, because that's what's gonna happen eventually, man. These people are they're gonna try to get paid, and you can't buy or sell unless, we know what the scriptures say. All right, so I quoted Psalm 68:19. Blessed be the Lord who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the power of our salvation. All right, and the scriptures talk about workmen, that's worthy of his hire. Talks about, basically when the Lord comes, blessed is he who he finds working. All right, so we got to make sure our work is consistent, man, and continue to do for us, man. This isn't just like I said, man, a hangout, a cool spot. All right, this isn't for somebody who's just looking, just to be a part of something. You were in I don't know, Boy Scouts. Then you were in the gang. Then you were in a fraternity. Now, I joined. Yeah, I'm a BHI. All right, which you talking like that? That's a red flag in itself. But this isn't just a thing just to do. All right, we are the Lord's workmanship. We represent Him, man. It's us. It's for us to go into the nitty gritty and the details of the scriptures, and for us to know all things, man, pertaining to that all things that are given to us. Right, this is Proverbs 23:4. All right, 23:1. Because you have to understand, man. Ultimately, this man ain't gonna give us what we're looking for. Right, he ain't gonna give it to us, man. It says, "When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat." And that's what this man gives out, man. It's deceitful. He has a system set up. It's not even like how it used to be, where you have to go cash a check. You wait in line, whatever. Now it's direct. Boom. Instantly in an account, the numbers pop up. Boom, boom, boom. And we got your money right there, sir. There you go. And a lot of people, they fall in love with that. You could just do the same, 40-hour week or whatever. And, one day, maybe they'll retire you, or your 401k, you can cash out on it, and then you'll be good. All right, but that's not the case. All right, that's why it says, labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom, because there's going to come a time where, we're already in a food shortage. There's going to be famine. There's going to and there's going to be a famine of the word too, but there's actually going to be an actual, famine is a part of the curses. The scriptures tell you that, man. Famine, lack of water for these people. Ain't gonna be no, police. It's also about, wanting to go to a city and you're not gonna be able to. All right, martial law. All right, All these different things which are coming to bring this society and this kingdom down, right? Which are being stirred up. And, once they happen, there's no going back, right? There's no going back to the old life that we were living, right? In the 2000s, in the 2010s or whatever. It's no going back to how it was. All right, this is the things that are happening now are unprecedented in this country. All right, the currency has been, and that's ultimately what's causing the currency, which is a false balance, to lose value. Okay, because it was always backed by different factors, man. The military factor, the factor of resources and political control and influence. All right, Esau has divisions in his house. Those divisions are getting deeper and deeper and more and more. And that's what's causing, the contention and for their house to be broken up, as it always had. Okay, the Romans, they were knocking each other off, and those emperors, they were taking each other out. Right? They've always operated like that, man. Right? But we're not supposed to operate like that, and we're not supposed to be profane, selling ourselves for a couple of dollars and shit, man. That's what Esau did, man. He needed that meat. He needed to eat so bad. He couldn't have fasted. He needed it. He needed that food. Let me say it like that. And he sold his birthright, which it was prophesied he was going to do that anyway. All right. But that's all I had, man. Lord willing, edify, and all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. May we continue to labor, all right, for the things which are in heaven, which wait for us, man. The Lord has a place for us with many mansions. Shalom.